I just want to skip to the part where I learn whether or not this is going to be a monster chimp or not. Quick note before starting today's video is that half of the proceeds generated from advertisements will go directly into our humanitarian organization Act for Ukraine. For those who don't know, my mother is currently in Ukraine helping both fighters within the territorial defense and unfortunate civilians who could not evacuate. We're not buying weapons or munitions, this is strictly for medical aid, food, and life-saving equipment that we personally provide people by driving to their location. And if you wonder whether or not my mom and her badass Dr. Bestie drive through minefields, the answer is yes. Yes, they do. Here's a picture of a blown up tank. I'll also leave a link down below so you can go check out our crowdfund and help us if you'd like. Hello, my fellow warriors, hope you're doing well. So it's been a minute since my last reaction, and honestly, it was really hard for me to make the decision of hopping back on here. But after Johnny and Mom insisted of me to just do it, and many of you DMing me to tell me how my old videos brought a smile to your faces and helped distract yourselves from our current situation, here I am today to do just that. Your support this last couple of months was truly amazing, and I honestly couldn't thank you enough for being so caring and understanding. I really missed you, and I hope you miss me too. But now I'm done being sappy, so let's just move on. So there's a place between dimensions, between worlds. To some, it is known as the outside. To others, it is unknown. To those that truly know, however, it is called the Void. Despite its name, the Void is not an empty place, but rather the home of unspeakable things, horrors not meant for the minds of men. And although the vibe is very self-explanatory, for some reason we received this as its humanoid female character. I mean, it's honestly beyond insulting when the entire roster looks like this and we get sexy space roach princess in a super tight leotard that gave us exactly what we wanted. And although I'm a woman of culture who can appreciate the fine arts, milady does not belong in a place of utter destruction. So now I'm extremely nervous to find out what is the next champion gonna look like, because the only other female champion we have in the Void is our one and only queen. But since monster champs are not profitable, my pearls are clenched and my butt cheeks are squeezed. Because her introduction in the Feast of the Prophet doesn't give sexy 𝗶𝘱𝗱 babe, and if that's what she'll look like, I fucking quit. For those who haven't read the story, here's the gist of it. So we had this guy named Meir, which means bright one in Hebrew, which is also quite an ironic name for someone who fucked around and found out. Meir ran away from one of the 𝙤𝙀😓 German cities after striking a 𝙤𝙀😓 officer. His bright idea was to join a group of cultists to try and get to the southernmost tip of the Icathian Peninsula, where he hoped he'll find a smuggler so he could get to Bilgewater. For his own defense, he didn't really have many choices, because along the northern coast, Noxus was expanding its territory. In the ancient capital, the long-dead, now supposedly living again Emperor Azir was said to prepare for an inevitable war. The southeast, well, the southeast had a cult with a hole that descended deep beneath the Shuriman sands and into an emptiness that is both growing and alive. If it was me, I would have probably not killed an 𝙤𝙀😓 officer knowing that those were my only options, and maybe just, I don't know, seduce him to get closer to Darius and Samira, because priorities. Anyway, Meir very quickly found himself in a chanting circle with Malzahar at the top of it. For those who don't know who Malz is, well, he was an orphan from Amakra that did some basic fortune telling until he felt like he had a higher purpose. Very biblical. Only instead of stumbling upon a burning bush that told him to save people from slavery, it was more of a glowing purple crater that told him to accelerate the world toward inevitable oblivion. So we can imagine how sus Meir felt about seeing this half-naked dude talking about stuff like, "The void will come and wash away the world and all of its miseries, and that the void has embraced a new form, a new possibility. And she wants everything. You your memories, your experience, and your entire fucking existence. And by your entire fucking existence, I mean poultice freezing mid-air while darkly luminous corals burst from their skin and being sucked into the hole, others torn limb from limb by fast-moving schools of strange iridescent fish, and more lose a scream before vanishing completely as though suddenly erased. Mayor being one of them. So yeah, the whole thing screams uber fucked up sci-fi, and I expect the champion to look the part. But I wouldn't know that if I won't watch the cinematic, which means that I shall do it right now. So without further ado, let's get started. Okay, and start. Oh, it's 𝗨𝘀cie! Yeah, of course it is. Ooh, it kind of looks like she's underwater. Ooh, this looks amazing. Ooh, those cheeks, ma'am. The animation is so good. So kind of like it's flowing through the water. Oh, it's that little ship from like the teaser when she was like a little girl. Oh, I never. Oh, fuck her little ship then. Oh my god. Oh, it's those fishes that like devour everything. Oh, there she is. Okay.
What are you?
We got bat wings. And a barren look. Oh my god, she is so thick. Okay, and you are.
I will devour your world.
Whoa. Okay. Oh! Holy fuck! That bitch slapped that. Oh! 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 Whoa! Oh! Oh! Wow! Those her hands are very grabby, ma'am. Oh my god, she is so thick. Why is there so much ass?
So much more. I am the end of the world.
Oh!
Beginning.
It's a monster! It's a monster! It's a monster! It's a monster! Right. You had me in the first half, not gonna lie. I was about to throw hands and commit felonies. So Bel'Veth is like the love child of Lilith from Diablo 4, the parasite from, well, Parasite, a deep sea anglerfish, and a manta ray. And I'm here for it. Now, apparently after the video came out, so did a new story called Pinwheel, which is basically a continuation of the cinematic itself. In the story, 𝗨𝘀cie tried to escape, but her entire suit, which is pretty much a void parasite, was in absolute awe of Mommy Dearest because it belonged to the void. So as much as 𝗨𝘀cie tried to act tough, she quickly realized that she had zero chance against the powerhouse that is Mommy Belle. And that the only reason she was still alive was because that's what Belle wanted. Now, the reason Bel'Veth needs her alive is very exciting, because she wants her to defeat the Watchers, which apparently are threatening her grand plan. Last time we heard about the Watchers was in the Freljord's lore, when Lysandra reached out to them on hers and her sister's behalf to strike a deal in exchange for near immortality and the ability to withstand the worst of the numbing frost. The deal was to prepare Runeterra for the coming of the Void. Thus, the Iceborn were created, and Lysandra herself became the Watcher's Seeker, mediating between them and the Iceborn. However, 𝗪𝗪𝙠 and 𝗪𝗪𝙀, Lysandra's sisters, were not happy with the whole doomsday plan and reached out to the demigod Ornn to build a chasm and bridge known to us as the Howling Abyss, where they could lock away the Watchers. 𝗪𝗪𝙠 and 𝗪𝗪𝙀 marched towards Lysandra, and Lysandra tried to remind them of how much they achieved thanks to this alliance. Only they didn't care, and a war broke through. The Watchers finally managed to reach Runeterra, but when they were about to break through, Lysandra summoned all of the ancient magic she could and sacrificed her sisters and their allies to entomb the Watchers beneath a glacial barrier of magical ice on the bottom of the Howling Abyss, thus betraying them forever. Bel'Veth said that the Watchers attempted to invade and destroy existence, only instead they were tainted by it, driven to desire worship and to gain greater understanding, and in an instant, they were betrayed. It filled them with an indescribable hatred and the need to annihilate all of reality without a second thought. Now you would think that the Watchers and Bel'Veth would be allies because they're both Voidborn, but apparently that's not the case. The Watchers want to destroy everything, but if they do, Bel'Veth has nothing to consume. Bel'Veth said that she doesn't want to be just one city. They want to become part of all of them. They want their knowledge, memories, and existence, all to build their own underwater void colony that she can build because no one else could stop her. No one besides the Watchers, which is when 𝗨𝘳 comes into play. Bel'Veth wants her to aid with the destruction of the Watchers, and she even offers to spare her kind for a moment. A month, a year, more. Perhaps in that time 𝗨𝘳 will find a weapon that can slay her, or a hero who can face her, basically offering her this one chance, which is already more than the Watchers will ever give her. I love her character because she's extremely self-aware. She knows what she is and how powerful they are. She's an extremely intelligent being, and I think that's what actually makes her truly terrifying. She also carries herself like a goddess, which is not far from the truth, as the ancient people of the city of Bel'Veth had a myth of a remorseless deity who would erase all things without hatred, replacing them with itself, calling it the God of Oblivion. Have I mentioned already how all of this is extremely biblical? Now, in the midst of all that, Bel'Veth also casually drops the fact that there were only 2 people in her lifetime that could face her without their brains turning to mush, and that is her, 𝗨𝘳, and her father, Kassadin. We stan a dramatic queen. 𝗨𝘳 is shocked and doesn't believe her, but what 𝗨𝘳 doesn't know is that Kassadin is not only very much alive, but he is also in Ekathia, trying to find the prophet, aka 𝗲𝗲, who destroyed the village that they lived in so he could avenge his dead wife and the daughter who he believes to also be dead. So now we have a couple of things to keep an eye on. We have 𝗨𝘳, who was released by Bel'Veth to find a solution to the Watcher. We've got Kassadin, who haven't been name dropped, but with the updated splash art will definitely have a role. We've got 𝗲𝗲, who is Bel'Veth's fuckboy. We've got Vel'Koz, who's scared shitless of Bel'Veth and is probably going to fight against 𝗨𝘳 because he is the Watcher's little spy. Rek'Sai and Cho'Gath will keep doing their own voidy little thing, although Cho'Gath is also extremely intelligent, so I guess only time will tell. Kog'Maw will keep trying to find 𝗲𝗲 because technically he was awoken by him, and Kha'Zix is going to keep trying to consume Rengar as he is the apex predator and will be a fine addition to his own evolution. Now, I don't think they'll talk too much about them, but they will have to mention 𝗲𝗏 as their mages were the only ones who survived both the Void and the Darken. In fact, it was an 𝗲𝗏 elemental mage by the name N'Zook who created a weapon powerful enough to be able to eradicate the Void as the source of its original eruption. That weapon being Malphite.
Hello, little pebble.
Papa! Last we've heard of him was in Zaun, because the Void has already spread there into its minds, so I believe after he pushes through Zaun, he'll get back to Shurima and maybe meet up with Taliyah and 𝗨𝘳 for a final battle, which I expect Zilean and Jax to be at as well, since they are the only survivors of Ekathia at the moment and could shed a lot of information for the war. The only thing I'm worried about is that due to their unpopularity, they will be replaced by more popular champs from other regions to, you know, spice things up because no one cares about them or their lore or their character development. So don't be surprised if Malphite will receive the Yorick treatment of being fucking forgotten, even though it is him who's supposed to eradicate the Void, very much like Yorick had to do with the Ruined King, which we all know how ended up. But hopefully we'll learn from our mistakes and care about our community so we won't allow that to happen again. And that's all for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment for the algorithm. And if you'd like to support the channel, you can check out my Patreon, donation page, or become a YouTube member. Thanks again for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Bye bye.